Hi, hello, and welcome to the Number One Podcast, the perfectly imperfect podcast focused on progress towards living a fulfilling life. We're your hosts. My name is Michael Lum.
I'm Eric Lum,
I'm Judy Lay.
and today we have a very special guest. He is a Hollywood stuntman, a visual artist, and a storyteller. He's been in big blockbuster movies like Ballerina, John Wick, Thunderbolts, and he's the stunt double for the upcoming Nobody 2. So we are very honored and excited to have you on our show as our guest, and thank you for joining us. Welcome, Caleb Spilliards.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Super stoked to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Man, so we have so many questions. This is honestly a very special moment for us, like we all my life I've dreamt of being an actor, being in, the cool movies and shows on TV and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it always seemed like a million miles away, like a huge goal that was impossible, that I never even gave myself the chance. And we only started going after our dreams only a few years ago, since 2019. And to meet somebody who's been in like the big movies that we wish we could be in, and who's actively involved, is kind of a cool, surreal moment for us. So
Yeah.
thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, that's really what made me want to do this was when you and I talked online. I just totally resonated with what you were saying as far as like having come from a place of being like not fulfilled and like not stoked on where you're at in life and just kind of like, what am I doing this for? To like kind of jumping off and going, I'm going to go after this. And that's like something that is deeply in me and something I experienced myself. So
Yeah. I shared the newsletter with everybody, so we kind of have a general idea of your backstory. But can you share with our audience, like, what, how did you start? What got you into this career and getting into Hollywood and stuff?
yeah, sure. So it's kind of a multifaceted thing. So I started off. It's like how far back do I go?
Training. How about what kind of training do you have in order to be a stunt coordinator? And
Well, yeah, so I'll touch on a little of both. So as far as like my history, I got into this basically because I played music for a long time. Actually I started out playing music and I was in a band in high school, just like a pop punk band. And I've always been like super ambitious. So it wasn't just like I want to be in a band and play shows around town. It was like, no, I'm gonna make it in the music industry. Like that's what I want to do. Like I want to be a rock star, basically. And so I was in a band and was writing some songs and got some traction with a label, and we ended up getting signed and did like some touring for a couple of years under a label called The Vagrant, which used to be a subsidiary for Interscope. And that was kind of my first intro into like entertainment. And it didn't really feel like that because it's like you're in a band with your friends and then all of a sudden you have a label and they're a small label. So it's not like your life changes. You just are now in a band that's on a label. So you don't really feel like you're in the entertainment industry, so to speak, like I do now. That was kind of my intro to like performance and like pursuing something in media. Um, and then just randomly, man, we got stranded in New York. One of our vehicles broke down and we were stranded in New York and we didn't have anything to do. And so basically this was like back when DVDs were then there was no digital, no like digital stream, nothing like that. So it was just DVDs. And we basically were stuck in a New York apartment for like 3 weeks after we ran out of money, had nothing to do. And so I was just watching DVDs. Like we just started watching movies and stuff, which wasn't abnormal. But for some reason, like after we went through the entire Rolodex of movies that these people had, there was nothing else to watch. So I started watching like the BTS on these DVDs and like all the like how they made it and stuff like that. And I was like instantly like super intrigued. And that kind of snowballed and I just kind of got this random idea. I was like, maybe I want to try acting. Like maybe I should try to be an actor. And so we had been reached out to by a college professor that did video for the college, and he had offered to shoot us a music video like a year prior to this. We didn't end up doing that, but it made me think of it. And I was like, maybe he does like short films or something. So I reached out to him and was like, hey, I'm kind of like just randomly interested in this. If you ever have anything, going on, I would love to be a part of it. Well, he was like, actually, we've got a student film we're doing soon. Like, do you want to come do it? And I was like, sure. So like, I went out there, did my first little acting role, and was kind of immediately like, all right, this is something like I'm interested in, something I want to pursue. So the music, longer story, but the music kind of fizzled out. I left the band, and then I decided like I'm going to pursue acting. Like that's what I want to do now. I'm going to put everything I have into that. And I was living in Arkansas at the time. So the move was, when can I move to LA? Like, when could I save up money to move to Los Angeles? So I started working a job, and the goal was to do that. And I was pretty dissatisfied with the fact that I was like stuck at home. So I was like, maybe I could make like a YouTube sketch comedy channel or something, like some type of channel where I could like at least practice and like, hone my skills and stuff. So I started doing that, and I'm a perfectionist, so when I first started shooting, I was like, "This sucks, like, this looks really bad, like, I don't like this," you know? And so that kind of snowballed into, like, learning filmmaking, like, by necessity, like, I was just like, "I wanna shoot my own stuff." I mean, I had a friend helping us shoot, and he was helping me too. He was a kind of a local guy that shot ads and stuff. So I had some decent mentorship, but for the most part, it was just me, like, figuring out how to edit, how to color grade, like, the whole gamut of, like, filmmaking, like, in my apartment. And so I did that for a while, and then, um, this could go on forever, but, like, just to kind of, like, shrink it up, I ended up moving to New Orleans instead of LA just because it was a little more accessible financially, and there was, like, a big industry, kinda like there is in Atlanta and, like, other markets now. It was, like, kinda started in New Orleans, and I started pursuing acting down there, um, auditioned for, like, 2 years straight with, like, no callbacks, nothing happening, just, like, dead in the water. Was still doing filmmaking stuff, shooting my own things. I actually started making a little money shooting music videos on the side for like my old manager and stuff. So there was kind of always this dance of like performing and like learning filmmaking happening at the same time. And this is important because this is how I kind of ended up doing stunts on a big scale. So I ended up being in New Orleans for 3.5 years or so. And during that time, I met some stunt people on a set. I had a couple little good jobs come in. I finally started booking some work. I had a couple little TV shows happen, which was awesome, and met some stunt guys, and basically was like super interested. I was like, "How did you guys get into this?" And they're like, "Well, we had, if you have a dance background or movies or sorry, not movies. If you have dance background or like martial arts or gymnastics." And I was like, "Oh, like before music, what I wanted to do was be an Olympian, and I did competitive gymnastics for 10 years. So like that's was my first background before music." So I had this big like in-depth acrobatic background from gymnastics, and I was like, "Man, this is, like, really cool, like, maybe I should pursue this." So I kinda started doing a little bit of both, and then it wasn't long before I kinda fell in love with the stunt side of it, and then when I moved to LA, I was moving to be an actor, but I kind of started to, like, push more into the stunt world. So when I started getting into stunts, I, like, same as music and everything else, like, I just went all in, and I was just, like, looking for places to train, and I had met some friends, like I said, in New Orleans, and they were like, "You should try to train at 8711." And I was like, "Cool. I'm gonna try to train at 8711." And I kinda didn't really I knew it was John Wick, and I knew it was, like, the premium place, but I didn't really know too much about it. Um, and so I sent them a message, an email, super funny. I sent them an email and was just like, "Hey, I'd love to train there, this would be really great." And I had some friends that told me to go here, and they were just like, "Yeah, we're busy, like, we're not letting people in right now, like, it's very private," at the time, and, they were nice, but it was just kinda like, "We just don't have any open gym kinda thing going on right now. Check back." I think he said, "Check back later," or something, and I was like, "Okay." So then for, like, every 6 months, I basically would check in with them and be like, "Hey, like, is there any room? Could I come train?" And as that's happening, I'm, like, learning more about the stunt side and, like, them and, like, how it's going, and my resume's starting to build a little bit. I was getting some day player jobs, doing some stunts here and there, working at theme parks to, like, pay the bills, and I just kept pestering them, honestly, and then at one point, I just got really fed up with my career, like, I wasn't doing anything, I was working, like, a day player job, like, once every 6 months, I would get, like, a day on something, doing something really silly, and it was just making, like, barely any money at theme parks, like, barely enough to live. Uh, I filed for bankruptcy during it. It was a mess. So anyways, so I finally got to a place where I was just like, "Fuck it. I'm just gonna be really bold." And I just hit him up and I was like, "Hey man, like listen, like I know it's private in there, like I know it's like exclusive and whatever, but if you give me 100 things to do, I'll go do them. But just like let me know what to do. Like let me know what I can do to get my foot in the door there because like I'll do it. Like tell me what to do and I'll go do it." And he just like he hadn't responded, by the way, in like 10 emails, hadn't responded back to me. And so after that email, he goes, hit up this guy, Hugh Fitzgerald, and who's a jujitsu guy at the time, and see if you can join the jujitsu class. And I was like, I'm in. I did it. So I'm like pestering Hugh now, like, can I join jujitsu? Can I do this thing? That got me in the room. And then eventually I started training with them. And then that just built into things like building my skill set and the networking and stuff. And ultimately like kind of launched my career.
Very cool.
So long ass story, but it's kind of necessary. It's like all the pieces to the puzzle.
No, we like long ass stories, so we have long ass stories too.
For sure. It's like never one thing, you know? It's like overnight success takes 20 years. So it's like,
The journey is important to get to where you want to go, right?
Hmm.
yeah, totally. So, but yeah, man, that's kind of how it started. Like that's kind of how everything began. And then from a training standpoint, it kind of is hand in hand. Like 8711 is like the premier, facility, premier production company for all things like fight related. Like they changed the fight game and just like revolutionized like the fight team scene and like how fights are presented and previs and like things like that. Like they're all responsible for that stuff. So, um, the training, I was fortunate enough to like literally train with Chad Stahelski, like, every morning, like, he would train us, and so, like, I'm literally trained by Chad Stahelski, who's, like, Keanu's double on The Matrix and, like, just a legendary stuntman and second unit director, now director, producer, um, and just to have his mentorship and, be able to train under him was, like, there's no comparison. I mean, it's, like, the literal best training possible, like, for what we do, for fighting, and so I was able to have access to that by being at 87. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of how it all started. And then from that standpoint, like, the networking and the connections that I made through that, like that was never the goal. Like some people kind of try to get into 87 because they're like, I want to work. Like that's what they want. They want to work. They want to get jobs, like that's the thing. For me, it was never like about getting jobs. It was like, man, if I get undeniably amazing at what I do, I will get jobs. Like, there's no way I won't get jobs. Um, so it wasn't about like who could give me a job. It was more like who can give me skills that will get me a job. And so for me, it was just like if I just do nothing but put my head down for a year here, I will be 10 times better than I was when I came in. And that happened. And then by way of that, I met some people that, of course, now are some of my amazing, great friends who I work for. That was never really what it was about. But yeah, man, I like literally I quit one of my theme park jobs. Like I put myself in bad financial situations to stay training at 87 because I knew that it was like the ticket for me to get to where I needed to go.
So how'd you get into coordinating? Like that's like a step up from just being a stunt person, right?
Yeah, so um I said earlier that like the filmmaking kind of intertwined with performance, and the reason for that is because my, like, ticket even with 87, my ticket was I knew how to shoot. Like, I knew how to shoot and edit, and, like, not only shoot and edit, but, like, the filmmaking process. Because there's a lot of stunt guys, not so much then as much like, there weren't as many then that could shoot and edit. Now it's, like, kind of the cat's out of the bag. It's like if you can shoot and edit, it, like, helps you a lot. So now everybody, like, shoots and tries to learn how and stuff. But at the time, like, it was more of a scarce skill, and like I said, with 87, they kind of revolutionized how we present fights, which is with previs, and you're ultimately shooting like a concept that like cinematically to where like if you're the director, like I could go, here's the fight, and you could look at it and go, damn, we could put an Alexa on this and shoot it and it would look good. Like that's the goal. Give them ideas and help show what the choreography is. Well, I had that skill set before I even had the stunt skills. So through training at at 87, like, I would start helping out with previs on that front. Like, I would start helping shoot. I would start helping edit. Like, I would take some of that workload off, not knowing that I was also, like, um, honing the skill of creating previs, which is a big part of fight coordinating, is not only choreographing, but presenting the fight, like, executing, like, a previs, like, kind of leading your team, like, that kinda stuff. So I was building those muscles before I even knew it. And so the filmmaking aspect of it really fast tracked my career because I was no longer just a stunt person. I was a stunt person who could shoot and edit previs. So on a team, it's like, hey, we got Eric, we got Michael, like they can perform. And it's like, we got Caleb, he can perform and he can shoot and he can edit and he can do these things. And from the standpoint of being a fight coordinator or a stunt coordinator, it takes so much weight off your shoulders to have someone who can help bear that load. And so the way that I got into fight coordinating was ultimately I was facilitating like an assistant fight coordinator role when I was on some of these teams because I was helping the fight coordinator shoot. I was helping them edit. I was helping them do these things. And so I'm basically kind of facilitating like an assistant fight coordinator role. And then before too long, you kind of become the guy that can do these things, like they do these extra tasks for a team. And then that just kind of naturally evolves into like, you've been on several core teams, like, you know how this works. Like you're good at managing people. You communicate well. Like you're just in the spot a lot and you're almost already doing the job to the point where eventually someone goes, "Hey, I think you could do this." And so one of my good friends who I've worked for several times, Jackson Spidell, legendary stunt guy, John Wick's double and 1, 2, and 3, I believe. Yeah, amazing. He got up to stunt coordinate. He was up to stunt coordinate Ballerina, which is one of his biggest stunt coordinating roles to date at that point, jobs. And we were just, I was super good friends with him and like super good friends with his wife is like a really good friend of mine as well. We all trained together and I had already helped him shoot some stuff and it was just like a natural, like, I just got this job. Like, do you want to come with me and be my fight coordinator? And it was like, hell yeah. And I was shitting my pants, but like, yeah, yeah, I wanted to do it. And I had one more job before that, a fight coordinator job with this Tyrese movie that was like a lower budget. Like, I think it was like a low, a couple $1 million like indie. So I had a little bit of experience with it, like official experience, but I had a lot of like working experience doing that job before I got the title. So that's kind of how I got into that. And then after that, it just, you do one fight coordinating job and then your boss from the other job goes, "Hey, I know you're a fight coordinator on this. How'd that go? Like, you want to fight coordinate this?" And so it just kind of starts to become the next thing. And now you're kind of in this weird world, or I'm in this weird world where like sometimes you're the fight coordinator and sometimes you're the sub guy. And it's just like based on the job that's available and what gets offered to you and what you want. Some people will like hold off and go, "No, I'm a fight coordinator now. That's all I'm going to do." But like at the industry, honestly, with where it's at right now and like the scarcity of jobs and stuff, it's like I don't have the luxury of going, I'm just going to fight coordinate. So I kind of do both. I go back and forth depending on what the job needs and whatever, but I'm kind of always facilitating that role at least to some degree.
Yeah. I'm definitely curious about how you decided to keep going because I know it was a very difficult start for you to get into this. I mean, and you had a couple setbacks too. So like if you could, because especially like in this career, it's very competitive and it's even Eric and I are in this industry and a lot of times like a lot of us want to give up and want to quit because it's just so much and it's and mentally and everything. So what whatever you were going through, I'm just curious.
Yeah, totally. That's a great question. I think I had an epiphany at one point. Um, and I don't remember exactly when it happened, but there was one time where I remember I palpably thought that I was like, I didn't really ever think about giving up, but I kind of thought about what if I gave up? Like, what would that look like? You know?
Mm.
And or why shouldn't I give up? I don't know. I just had this idea of like at some point, bro, shouldn't you like go like do a real job and like get a house and like whatever. And I think the thought that I had that really kind of helped me seal the deal of like, you know, sticking with it was I'd already kind of lived the life of like a full-time person at a corporation that was paying my bills. I'd already done that. Um, and I think the realization that I had was whenever I used to go into the AT&T store to sell cell phones, I literally would get into work and be counting down the minutes and seconds until I could get off and go do something else. Like I literally did that. Like it was awful. Uh, and I didn't realize how much until, like, looking back on it, how mentally stressed I was about it. I had this epiphany one day that, like, even though I was, like, broke and I wasn't making money and I wasn't really booking jobs, like, I didn't feel that way. I didn't, like, get up in the morning and go, "Fuck, like, I don't wanna fucking go do this job." I didn't have that. Like, yeah, I worked at the theme parks and it wasn't the best job and I dreaded going to work and I liked my days off, but, like, I knew it was in the pursuit of something bigger And so it just it gave me peace. And so I realized that like I would rather have the peace in my heart knowing that I'm going for my goal, even if I never did it and I never did anything, just knowing I was going for it and I wasn't wasting my life away, than ever go back to a job where I was making decent money. But like I was just like this, I'm just a weekend warrior now. This is just what I do. I'm settling. And so once I kind of had that mentality, I just knew I was never going to stop trying to go for it. Uh, and it might evolve and like what I was doing to survive might evolve, but the pursuit was never gonna stop. And so that's kinda what kept me going in those hard spots was just like, I'm already happier doing what I'm doing, even failing. I'm already happier failing than I am going out and quitting, like, and getting a better job and getting more money. Like, I'm like, what would I do that for then if I'm happy? So as cliche as it is, it was kind of a real world experience of like, it is about the journey then rather than the destination. It is about like experiencing what you're doing and appreciating it for what it is. And now I can say this, having like been fortunate enough and lucky enough to work at the highest level, I can say that like it isn't about the job. Like you get the job and you go, fuck yeah, I did it. Like, yes,
Yeah.
cool. And then it's great. And then you make, some cash doing it. And then you've done that. And now it's like, all right, well, what's the next thing? So like you're never gonna feel like this like euphoric place where now that I'm working and stuff, like I'm just like stoked. So then you really do realize that like the satisfaction comes from the growth and it comes from like
Yeah.
having worked toward it. Um so anyway, that being said, like just kind of having that realization that I was already happier doing what I was doing, even failing, than I would be working for money, like, better money, was like enough for me to go, well, then why would I quit doing this? Like if I'm happier, you know?
It's awesome. Thank you.
That's exactly kinda how I feel about it too. But I can't help but, like, because I think it's a lot of us struggle with our mindset, is, like, what we believe and our perspective in life,
Yeah.
and
Perfectionism.
the old me would have been like, "What if I don't make it? What if, not everybody gets to the level of success that, you and other people have made it. Not everybody can make it. So what if I don't make it? Like, that's a fear that I think holds a lot of people back. Yeah. So, I mean, what would you say to people that are thinking like that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I just think, like I said, I mean, I think it's when you put, I don't know, man, when you take the pressure off of like making, first of all, you kind of have to define like what is making it. Like I know making it in general is like, oh, am I a celebrity? Like, am I an A-list actor? Like, am I a premium stunt performer? Like, what is making it? Defining that for sure, and then knowing that guess what? Like, if you don't make it, you can go work your shitty job that you were working before. Like, what did you lose? I I follow a guy, for mostly in the content creation world named Dan Coe, who's I love his vibe because he's so no bullshit, and it's all about he's like mega solo entrepreneur, and his whole business is about basically influencing other people to do that in like the digital space and like stuff that I pursue on the side. Now I'm more full time, but, he says that a lot. He's like, "Give it a couple of years, like, give it a couple years, give it 5 years, give it a X amount of time. You can always go back to your shitty job." Like, and that's so true. It's like, it's so true. Like, what if I don't make it? Okay, what if you don't? Well, then you have some cool stories to tell. Like, you have a cool experience that you got to do. You get to tell your kids, like, "Yeah, I just didn't like what society was telling me to do, so I did my own thing for a couple of years, and, I realized that I wanted a family, so now I'm doing this now." But at least you, like, turn that rock over and you know what's underneath? But if you never do that, like, you're literally gonna be 80 years old and going, "Well, fuck, like, I'm 80 still. I'm still 80. Like, I still am 80 years old, and I didn't do anything when I was young. Like, why? Like, I'm still 80, that result is the same. So, like, why wouldn't you go for it? Like, why wouldn't you give it a shot? So, and the other thing I would say is, like, what if you don't make it? Like, you're definitely not gonna make it if you don't try for it. Like, you're definitely not gonna get there if you stay at your job and do nothing, like, so, do you wanna take a risk and have a massive reward potential? Or do you want to not take a risk and have zero reward potential? Like none, it's like, I don't know. I feel like with people like you guys who are doing what you're doing and you're already in pursuit of what you're doing and you're doing the podcast, which is a different avenue, but it's like a different creative thing. It's like I can tell that you're in this mental space of like, all right, what can we do? And like whatever. And that's what it takes. It takes that idea of like of not thinking like this is what I am now. Like this is what I am. It's like this is who I am right now. Well, 2 years ago, Caleb wasn't a content creator. Caleb was a stuntman, and that's all I did. But it's evolving because of, like, the fact that I'm always looking for, like, what's the next avenue? Like, what's the next way I can make this bigger and better? And how can I, give myself more leverage? Um, and I think it's important to have that mindset. And so I hate to be a negative say something negative, but, like, I've always kinda said, like and had the mentality of, like, if you will quit, you should. Like, if you will quit, you just should save yourself the trouble because it's gonna be so fucking hard that you're gonna quit. Like, if you have the mentality of like, "Yeah, if it got too hard, I'd probably stop." Like, then just quit. Don't even start because it's gonna suck. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know, long-winded answers to your short questions, but, like, that's just I'm so passionate about this topic because it's like you will never get anywhere if you don't just step your first foot out the door, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, even like what you said about like give it a couple years. People say that to me, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna give it a couple years. You don't get anywhere in a couple years. You get places if you commit to yourself and say that's where I'm going, and I don't care how long it takes. I'm going there.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is what I do now. That's the mentality. It's not it's not, "This is what I'm trying. I'm gonna try to go do this." Like, no, this is what I do. I'm an actor, or I'm a stunt person, like, or I'm a filmmaker. This is what I do. I do this other thing on the side to help fund my life, but, like, this is what I am, And that's gotta be the mentality. And if that's not the mentality, then you should reevaluate what you're trying to do, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, it's hard because I think we both kind of have this calling, like, we feel so grateful to get to live a quality of life that's different, like, we've both experienced that life where we felt stuck and unfulfilled and like we're going nowhere and not knowing what to do next and where to go, but and then, like you said, even failing, just at least you're going towards what you wanna do, and it's a different quality experience of life, and to know both sides is like I think, we kinda chatted a little bit and you have this drive to, like, wanna get other people to take action, to go for it and live their life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it kinda sucks because a lot of times it's hard to get people to go, to really just do it.
But a lot of times they have to realize that, themselves, because a lot of times it's a lot of, like, soul searching and, like, "Hey, I tried this, but" and again, like you said, like, sometimes people wanna do it, but then they already feel like they're gonna quit because like, they feel fear of failure and, fear of rejection, and in this industry, it's all about that, rejection and failure.
Yeah, it is, and it's like, you know what I've found, especially in entertainment in general, even with just like content creation, like failure, it's so interesting. Like we're taught, and I don't know that we're directly taught this, but like we learn when we grow up that like failure is something to avoid. Like you need to avoid failing. Like you want to succeed, avoid failure. And it's impossible because success is built on the back of failure. Failure is like a process of elimination, and that is how you succeed. So I have a video I posted a long time ago that was like fail as fast as you can. And it's like that is such a true like way to approach it, whether it's acting, whether it's like as long as you're not failing and just going, I failed. All right, I'll try again. I failed. I'll try again. And you're going, I failed. Why did I fail? How can I improve? What can I learn from this failure? Like what skill can I gain from the process? Then your failures will eventually turn into successes because it's impossible for them not to. Like you're literally eliminating things that aren't working, and it's just gonna be a matter of time before you can funnel all those things into a success, you know what I mean? And so, the idea of, like, I don't wanna fail or afraid of failing is like literally nonsensical because it's a requirement to succeed. Uh, and we're taught the opposite. We're taught that like it's either or, and it's not. It's failure and then you succeed. So yeah, man.
Oh, that's the beautiful way to to put it. Cause yeah, eat these things. Right, yeah, same, I do too, all the
My secret content. So when I first started doing content, my angle wasn't even about what I'm doing now, which is like around production, around fight filmmaking, all this stuff. It was actually about motivation. Like it was a motivational thing. Like if you go deep enough into my Instagram, it's like you can do this and you can do that and trying to push people and stuff. And it pivoted because I'm trying to like grow this thing to a point where I can kind of talk about whatever I want. So now I'm pursuing other things. I love filmmaking and cinematography. So you kind of do what works. But the pipe dream is to get back to that like thread where it's like, yeah, I'm doing the things that I love for a living, like teaching cinematography and teaching filmmaking, and like, but I'm really using that as a vehicle to like express the motivational stuff, like the live your dreams stuff, like the I was a kid in John Wick watching in theaters going, this would be really dope to be a part of this. And then 10 years later, I'm doing it, like I'm using it as a vehicle to push the agenda of what you said before, which is like, I am heavily an advocate of like helping people like try to reach their potential and just not even necessarily like reach their potential, but just like give them the belief that they can, because so many people are in this spot where it's like, I would love to do that, but, and it's like, well, then just do it. Like, just go do it. And they're like, well, it's not that easy. Yes, it is. It literally is. Like when I first moved away from home, I thought it was going to be this big thing. Well, it turns out you just put all your shit in your car and you figure it out a day at a time. Like literally. So I'm super passionate about that, man. And like, I just think that that's what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah. I think about this often. It's like, do you think that everybody has a dream or like that thing that they wish they could do or because I ask people a lot of different people like what do they actually really want to do? And a lot of people just say, I don't know. But is it true that they really don't have anything that they wish they could do, or is it that they're too scared to admit that that's what they really want to do because they don't know if they can make it?
I think it might be a couple things. I think that society has done a very good job of programming us that like we shouldn't do that. You know, like it's less and less now. Like the future generation, I was thinking about this earlier. Um, it, Now, like being a content creator is a desired career path for like the youth. Like they're like, I want to be a YouTuber. Like I want to do this. Like that's a real like drive for kids and young people now. It's like they want it. They aspire to do this thing. So I think it's going to be the live your dreams thing and like do what you want to do is opening up a little bit just because of the internet because there's so much shared experience of like, oh, this person did it, maybe I could. But I think like I'm not sure how old you guys are. I'm like 38, so I grew up in a time where it's like where the path was like there was no internet like it is now, and it was like the path is to like go to school, go to college, get an education, get a job. Like, so I think
We're in the same generation.
We're in the same generation.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
yeah. So I think to your question, I think it can be both, but I think sometimes it's like they've never even thought to entertain it, so it just doesn't like live in their brain. Like they've never like it's very like outlier to have a feeling in your heart that like I got to do something different, like it's a very outlier drive. That doesn't mean that your average people don't wish they were doing something else. I just mean like the drive that you guys have had and that I have where it's like it feels like you're going to get ripped apart if you don't do it. Like that's very rare. And I don't know what that comes from, but, like, I think the general public that's satisfied in their life and they're just kinda building their career, I don't think it's not that they don't have a dream, I just think that, like, they never thought to, like, nurture the idea of it? And so it just does it's not present in their mind. And then I think there is a handful of people that have the idea of, like, "Man, I really wish I could do this." But I will say this to answer your question about does everyone have it? I think everyone has things that they're passionate about outside of what they do that they probably would take advantage of and make a living at if they knew how or could make the means of doing it. Whether that's cooking or like working on their house or like decorating. Like people have so many hobbies that they're like jujitsu, like they're passionate about that they just don't think of as like I could just do that. Like I could just turn that into my life. And I think it's hand in hand with like, you know, the sociology of like that's not what you were supposed to do, and so you just don't entertain it. But yeah, I do think that everybody has a hobby that they kind of, if they thought about it long enough, would like to be doing more than their job. And then there are some people that just wanted to be a doctor. That is their dream. Like they wanted to be a doctor. Like they wanted to be a policeman or in the military or whatever. I don't know how many people wanted to work in a cubicle for like some company numbers like Nike or whatever. Like you know what I mean? So or selling cell phones at AT&T, like, I certainly didn't aspire to be that when I was a kid. So, in jobs like that, not to hate on any of that, it's all necessary, but, like, just, I think I don't know, I think people get in their own way, don't know what the possibilities are.
And I think I fall into that category. You know, I went to school and I kind of followed that pathway of, society. You go to college, go to get, a degree. I became a doctor, and that's what I'm doing now. But my job is, I mean, it's a very, very chill job. I make good money, but it's like Eric and Judy are going after their dreams, and
Yeah, and he's creative too. Like, I mean, we have this podcast, and he's a really good dancer. So like, that's something that, is something that he wants to. He loves music and sick and like sports. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. So, like, in your own experience, like, would you say, like, have you had that drive yourself to do other things outside of what you're doing? Or has that kind of been, like, dormant in you, kinda like I mentioned before, where you just kinda didn't really entertain it? So you're like, "Alright, well, I'm a doctor, and that's what I do."
no, it's definitely it's within me to want to do other things. I mean, becoming a doctor has been really beneficial to me, as far as helping my family out and everything, and having a good, lifestyle. But every time I see a performer on a DJ performing on stage, it just draws me to that. Like,
yeah,
that's what I want to do. Like that, every time I see it.
it's like that fire and like
I do, I fucking resonate so hard with that. Like, I just that's the key, dude. Like, the key is if you have something that when you see it, you just go like, I just if that's it's the indication of like you gotta start making moves towards it. That's cool though. That's cool that you're able to do that. I mean, like I'm sure like being a doctor, I'm sure there's hella bills and college and stuff, but like, aside from that, like you have a somewhat of a vehicle to like kind of start making moves toward that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah. There's a lot of juggling in our lives, like like from our regular jobs to like training and like and just there's a lot. I mean, how do you juggle it?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, that you guys, what's interesting about it, have so much respect for like anyone pursuing their dreams when before they're able to like be funding their life with like their pursuit because it's such you have like a million full-time jobs. Like you literally have a million full-time jobs and people that just go that have settled to do a 9 to 5 and end up retiring when they're 65 or whatever will never know the hustle of like a creative that is trying to get to where they want to go. They'll never understand working a 40-hour work week and then coming home and starting your next 40-hour job to do your other stuff. That's what you really want to be doing. Um, and then for me, as far as like juggling things, it's
AC guy.
all good. It's all good. So I think I don't know. It's really hard. It's something that like even now, whenever I'm kind of doing what I set out to do in the beginning. Like I said, it for me at least, like it evolves. Like there's certainly people that reach the upper echelon of like their career. Like say they wanted to be an actor or stuntman, now they're doing it, and they're like cool. Like now I have plenty of friends. Like now what they do is they train. They train stunt stuff, they train fight stuff, and then they work, and that's it. That's their life. They don't have to juggle anymore. They don't have to do the 40-hour thing. I'm the opposite of that. I'm like cool, I've done this thing now, and now I wanna share it with people, and now I wanna do, you know, turn this into content or whatever, like become a content creator around these things to like help pursue my other passion, which is to help other people. So I like have self-imposed, like I have all this work I have to do and you guys want to do the podcast. I'm like, yes, I'm going to do the podcast because it means something to me and I want to do it. So I continually add shit to my own plate instead of like trying to figure out how to like get stuff off of it. So for me, I think juggling, it's just, I don't know, man. It's something I'm bad at. You know, I'm bad at it's the reason why when we got on the call, I'm like, hold on, I gotta fucking connect because for the entire morning I've been working on other stuff, and like even the release form, like he's like, hey dude, this release. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it.
We're like, shit, it's like 3-hour difference. Oh shit.
So I don't have a good answer for how to juggle it. I mean, I know what to do. I know that I should like follow my calendar religiously. I know that I should go, the block ended for this time. Like I'm done with that task no matter what. But I'm such a like energy vibe person that I'm like, no, I'm inspired to do this thing. Like now I'm going to shelve my entire schedule and I'm going to work on this video for the rest of the day. I was going to write, fuck the newsletter, fuck this thing. Like now I'm working on the video because I'm inspired to do it. So I'm a very, very terrible time management person when it comes to juggling. I think I just accept that, like, to juggle it all, I'm gonna pull funky hours and I'm gonna, like, do what I did before. Like, I almost have a similar schedule to when I was doing, like, before I kinda, like, made it or whatever, because I like, all the self-imposed things that I'm doing on the side is like having another full-time job. It's like, when I was doing Nobody up in Canada, like, I was creating content every day. So I would literally go home from work after, like, 12 hours of shooting and get my little camera out and run around Winnipeg and be shooting content to, like, edit and post. I would be editing, like, on my lunch break at work, like, constantly doing stuff. Um and still doing jujitsu, like, it just never ends. So, I don't know. I don't know how to juggle it. One thing after the other, I guess, like one step at a time. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that one.
It's funny you say that because I'm exactly the same way. Like I learned all these, time management stuff and
Yeah.
life management, and even like I do a lot of Tony Robbins stuff, and he teaches a thing called RPM. But I can't stick to my schedule. I can't. I create a plan, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this today, and I'm like you. I get inspired to like write about something or look something up, and I just go down a rabbit hole, and I'm like, the whole day's gone.
It feels like if I really need to be creative and I really have, if I have some creative deadline that I need, to do something on, or if I need to make a video or whatever, I think the thing for me to do is to give myself a bunch of other tasks, and then I will inadvertently do the creative thing. Like like I need to really make a cool video. Oh, okay. Well, then tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my schedule and then I'm going to write some emails and then I'll sit down and write the emails and I'll go, no, I'm not doing this other thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So funny. I'm really trying to balance that, because now with what I'm doing, it's like it's so like solo entrepreneurial like business space for content creation and stuff is like I mean, it's you. It's just you. I don't have a person helping me. Like, I mean, my girlfriend's like super instrumental in like bouncing ideas, and she gives me support. But like, I'm editing everything. I'm doing all these things, and I'm also trying to run this business, like get the business part of it going, which is like the newsletters and the sales copy on pages, just all this stuff that like requires you to sit down and like be scheduled, and work. So it's a big challenge, man. It's a really big challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, we realized like we need to like hire people to help us do the stuff that we don't like to do. It and some of our time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think there's a book I just read. I'm working with a business coach actually. He recommended I read this book called The One Thing. I'm not sure if you guys have read that, but great. It's basically in a nutshell about like what is the one thing I could be doing right now that would make everything else easier or non-essential, or and so and it basically talks about putting that at the front of your day and that being the first 4 hours of your day. So, and then after that, you can focus on other things. But like, it follows like the 80/20 rule. That's like, 80% of our results come from 20% of our effort. So it's like, if you can identify what that is over and over again, then eventually you're maximally efficient. Because if I can identify what's the 20% of things I'm doing today that's giving me 80% of the results, okay, well then screw all the other stuff. I'm just going to work on that 20%. And then you do that for a minute. And then you realize again, what's the 80%? What's the 20% of the 20% that I'm doing that's giving me 80% of my results? Like you can just continue to like hone this thing to where like this one task is like the most maximum leverage thing that I can do, and then everything else becomes easier.
Mhm.
So it's a great book, and it's something that I've been really trying to focus on because I've identified that in my own life when with stunts because, like, I'm sure by just, like, hearing me talk, like, I'm very scattered and I have so many things that I wanna do, and I've always been that way, like, when I came up doing the filmmaking stuff, like, I was also pursuing photography, and I was doing Photoshop, and I was learning all these things all the time, and I was, like, shooting a sketch comedy thing, working a full-time job, learning Photoshop, learning how to be a photographer, like, I wanted to do all these things, and for a while, I was just, like, it was almost and still, like, it's something I was kinda proud of because I was like, I'm just like a thirsty, like, sponge of I just want info, like, I just wanna learn, and it wasn't until I realized that, like, I had, like, 5 little flashlights pointed on multiple things, and it wasn't until, like, I got them all and, like, put them into a laser beam and focused on one thing that I actually made real progress, and that was stunts, and so I literally just stopped everything, like, I didn't shoot other than stunts, like, that was the other interesting thing about the stunt world, um, and, like, my growth in, like, the fight coordinating thing and, like, shooting previs and stuff was because I didn't really touch my camera in, like, 2 or 3 years. It was just, like, in my backpack. I sold most of my stuff. Like, I didn't have very I think at one point I didn't even have a camera, which was crazy because it was, like, the most passionate thing I had for, like, a decade. And it was because I got so into, like, I just have to do stunts. I just have to do this one fucking thing, and then I could do everything else that, like, I just sold all my stuff. Like, I wasn't even I wasn't even in that world anymore because I was just so focused on this thing, and then the snowball started to roll. And then now I'm in a place where, like, I've 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 had I've had to get fortunate and, like, I've made a decent living, and I'm in a place where I have a little more latitude now. I can go, "Okay, cool." Like, I got a little bit of a foundation now. I can start to build on this foundation, and now all these skills that I had and kinda gained are coming into play. I make flyers with Photoshop, like, I do web design stuff with Photoshop and Canva and, like, all these graphic design skills I have from random things I've done over the years, you know? So, like, once you've kind of lasered in on one thing, it can make everything else, easier down the line, and so I think it's a really important thing. Maybe that's a little bit of, like, what do you focus on? How do you
Yeah. Can I ask you a personal question? Like, if because I'm the same way, man. Like, I got all these different ideas and all these things that I think about doing and wanting to do, like, but like we're talking about, acting is like my biggest passion and is the one thing I want to do now for me. Also, at the same time, I do all these Tony Robbins programs and I learn all these things and I wish I could share it with everybody and I want to encourage other people to go after their dreams and all that stuff too. But I tried to start a coaching program and everything at the same time while I'm doing acting, and it is it's like what you said. I get pulled in all these different directions, and I start getting scatterbrained, and I can't focus, and I drop the ball here, I drop the ball there. So I'm like, I got to stop. I just got to focus on acting. But now I'm thinking about like, okay, so if I focus on acting, can I start a YouTube channel and just make videos and share on there and share on the podcast and it's still a lot of things. I haven't even started the YouTube channel, but what is your advice? Like, what do you suggest? Just is that something in a direction I should go, or should I narrow in and just go all in on acting, or what? Like
Yeah, I think it's interesting because almost counter to what I just said, I've always been really big like, one of the things I've always said is, like, I don't think you can make a wrong decision if you're following passion. And so what that means is and what the way I've seen it, and there's a Steve Jobs quote that's like, you know, "You can never connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect the dots looking backwards." And I found that to be so true in my own life, but it only comes into play when it comes to things that I'm passionate about, things that I pursued for the sake of pursuit, meaning I wanted to do photography. I have no idea why I wanted to do photography. We did a photo shoot with the band, and I just thought it was rad, and I liked the photos. They looked cool, and like I didn't even know at the time that I was like I'm a very visual like I love aesthetics, and I didn't know that about myself. It was just something I didn't. I don't know. I saw the pictures and I was like, I want to learn how to make a picture look that good. Like that's so sick. And I just bought a camera and I just did that because I just wanted to do it. And I was in a band and I was playing music and my goal was music. It wasn't to be a photographer, but I did that on the side and I had my little camera on the road and like I started my photography journey. And then that led to video and then that led to YouTube and then that led to what I'm doing now. And then now I look back and I go, holy shit, me staying up till 4 in the morning learning how to color grade for my dumbass YouTube channel, I use on a daily basis. You know what I mean? I use that skill on a daily basis. Um, and editing, I use that skill on a daily basis. So to answer your question, again, a little bit of a caveat to what I was saying is I definitely think you should pursue these interests that you have. I think the key could be making sure that you don't take your eye off the ball with the acting. Like, what's the YouTube channel about? Like, what is it for? Are you performing? Is it like talking to camera, kind of like the stuff I do on Instagram? You could do both. Like, you could do some talking to camera to kind of scratch the itch of like you want to help people, but then you could like also do it in a narrative format. There's a guy I follow. I'll send it to you next time I come across one of his videos. This could be an interesting approach. There's a guy that does he has a self-help Instagram. But what he does is he shoots himself talking to himself. So, but it looks like a narrative. So it'd be like an like a close up like this, him not looking at camera, him looking off like he's addressing someone. It'd be like I think I'm really struggling today with like feelings of self worth, and then it cuts to like him wearing like this white gown that's like the spiritual version. It's just like his higher self, and he goes, "What you thought about maybe you thought about the fact that you're eating like shit and you're not taking care of yourself. You're not spending time meditate like, but it's always real profound. It's not like stupid stuff. It's like actually good information, and so he's relaying to his audience like things that you can work on for personal growth via like this vehicle of like a narrative storytelling where it looks like he's talking to another person. It just happened. Like it could be his twin and
Yeah.
clearly it's just him doing his own thing, but like it's him talking to his higher self. So like you could do that with your YouTube where like if you want to convey these messages of like, going after your dreams and like, kind of doing what we've done, which is like quitting the conventional life to go do something else. Like you guys could do a YouTube channel where you guys are all collaborating and you make a script out of it and you're just it's like a thing. Like you get home from work and you're like, fuck this job. Like and then you're like, what are you still doing there? And like now you're doing it as an acting exercise. You're gonna teach yourself how to edit and shoot because it's necessary. And then you'll be like crafting your skills as an actor. Like you treat it like that. Like whenever I started doing YouTube, like it was sketch comedy, but it was not funny to me. Like it was funny because of the content, but like it wasn't a joke to me. I was like, all right, I'm going to apply this Meisner technique that I read about last week, this week when I do this video. Like that's why I was doing it. Like I legitimately had a pile of books on my table this big of Stanislavski and Meisner and like Ivana Chubbuck and like all these like acting coaches and like legendary Larry Moss, like all these legendary acting professors and stuff. And like I was learning as much as I could. And then I would go to my little silly YouTube channel where I was talking about just pop culture bullshit, but I was trying to perform. Like I was legitimately trying to act. And I would like look at the playback and be like, I look like I'm reading. Like, I sound like I'm reading. I sound wooden. I sound dead. Like it's not real. I started improvising on there. I started realizing that I'm at the time I was a better improviser than I was being on the script. So like I started improvising and trying to figure out how to do that. Like I used it as a tool to like better myself in many different ways. So I would try to figure out whatever your interests are, your extracurriculars, how can you unify it to where your ultimate backbone is accomplishing the same thing, you know?
Nice.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Some good advice.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I want to go back to your favorite day on set and project and why.
That favorite project and why? I have a couple favorite projects. One would be Ballerina. It was just like crazy experience living in the Czech Republic for 6 months. Oh, wow. Never been to Europe. Never been overseas. So, extra outside of the movie, like got to go to Switzerland and these like little satellite trips and stuff, which was as a photographer, videographer, like it was like a dream, you know? Um, And then the job itself was, like, such a growth process, like, that was such an eye opener of, like, potential because, like, I cannot express to you how the minute I got that call, I have videos, I might put this on Instagram. I have videos on my phone of me in my living room doing, like, fake ghost choreography as ideas would come to me because I was so stressed out about the movie. Like, I was so stressed out about doing the job that, like, the day I got the call, I was like, "Okay, what could I make? Like, what let me just start filming some, like, ideas." Like, I was immediately trying to get ahead of like, I'm such an anxious person, and I was, like, immediately trying to get ahead of it. Uh, so the growth that happened on that movie, just, like, seeing myself go from someone who was absolutely terrified to do the job to someone who, like, could take over and lead, like, run the set was, like, such a massive amount of growth. So that's probably my favorite project for that reason. From a social standpoint, like, I did Guardians 3, and I was working with, like, my literal best friends on that movie, and it was just, it was such a hilarious, like, fun, like, camaraderie driven, thing, and, yeah, that was just, like, so fun for that. And then, um, favorite moment on set, I think, uh, the one that sticks out was just was a crazy, like, full circle, thing where we were shooting the finale of Thunderbolts, and we were in the lab at the end with the climax fight. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but yeah, so in the lab during the climax fight, we were just doing it. We were shooting it. We were shooting the fight and stuff, and there was some stuff going on that we needed to correct and like fix, and so um the director basically was like, "Hey, can you jump in there and help?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure." So I went in there and was, like, coaching one of the actors through some stuff, and I basically just it was so crazy, like, I literally and I giving notes is nothing abnormal. Like, giving notes to an actor as a stunt fight coordinator is nothing abnormal. It's just usually very subtle. It's usually, like, you walk in, you're, like, kinda whisper, "Hey, man, on that punch, you, like, make sure you have your fist higher so it looks better," and, like, whatever. It's, like, very, like, kinda closet coaching type situation. But in this instance, it was like we needed to it was a lot of information that I needed to give the performer and, um and he was doing a great job, but it was just like, I need to, like, take over for a second. So I literally, like, went in the room, and we started rehearsing, and I started walking him through some stuff, and then I was like I came back out, and I was like, "Alright, we're good. He's ready to go." And it was just this weird moment where I had this, like I don't even know when it hit me, but it, like, just hit me that I was just on the set. I've been on the set for a year now of a massive Marvel movie, literally coaching, like, an A-list actor through his fight choreography while the entire crew is just waiting on me to do that. And it was just such a moment of, like, "Holy shit." Like, it wasn't like I'm, like, kinda whispering to him, it was like, "No, Caleb has the floor. He's doing the thing with the actor. Whenever he's done, we will be ready to shoot." And it was just, like, this very crazy moment where I was just like, "This has gotten insane." Like, we're watching movies with your girlfriend, when you were a kid and, you were watching these movies and you were watching these movies as a kid going, "I would love to be a part of that one day." And now you're the floor is yours while you coach this actor on a mega Marvel set while everybody else waits because that is your job, and, like, it can't happen without you doing that. Like, that was, like, a crazy moment. So, definitely my favorite moment. Um, yeah, it's cool, man. That's such a it's just right. It's weird. It's weird. Weird, and, like, that's why I get so bent on, like, helping people, like, take the step toward their goals is because, like, it's so easy, like, when you're not you're kind of, like, thinking about diving in where you're like, "Yeah, they did this, they had this, maybe they had better circumstances, maybe they could have done that," like, that maybe they have rich parents, like, all the it's like, "No, dude, I was, like, a fucking random dude in the middle of Arkansas watching Marvel movies, watching John Wick, going, I wish I could do that. That'd be so fun to do." And the only difference between, me being here and me being there was the decision to go, fuck, I'll just go try it. Literally. I could have easily gone back home and just gone, all right, yeah, whatever, that's for somebody else to do. And guess what? It would be for somebody else to do. But because I made the decision to go for it myself, it's for me to do, you know? Anyway, those are some cool moments for sure.
Awesome.
And how long did it take you to, I guess, make it or break in, you know?
Um, I guess it depends on what you define breaking in. I can give you like a quick timeline. So like I moved to New Orleans in okay. I started pursuing acting, I would say in like 2009, because that's when my YouTube started. That's when my pursuit started. I started driving to auditions in New Orleans in 2010. I would drive 6 hours to do a one-line audition and fuck it up and then drive 6 hours sad on the way back home. Like literally over and over again that happened. Uh, That's when I started pursuing acting. So 2009, 2010, I moved to New Orleans 2012. I booked my first job, my first real gig, probably 2.5 years into that. It was just like one or two lines on Joe Dirt 2, which seems cool, it was cool, but it was like not Joe Dirt 1, which was like a massive mega movie. It was like an indie that kind of I think got released digitally like immediately. Like it wasn't still an amazing opportunity, but it just wasn't like the blockbuster type thing that it was back in the day. Um, and then after that, I booked a couple roles on some TV shows. Um, and mainly this was because I was in like a small market, like I was in a tiny market where, you see the same actors at the auditions. Like it's not like LA, it's not like LA at all. Uh, so that was like my first couple roles. Then I did a day player stunt job in 2015, moved to LA, didn't do another job I did Happy Death Day actually as an actor. That was my biggest acting. Um, the minute I moved to LA, I got that role. Uh, and the reason why I'm giving you this timeline is because I think breaking in is or like making it is so different. Like I still had made it. Like I had made it at all. Um, and then I'm deviating. I'll get back to that. But basically after that, I went to LA and it was like crickets for acting. Like I still haven't booked a role out of LA as an actor. It's just such a different, and I stopped kind of pursuing it. I was more into stunts. But then for the next like 3 or so years, I was just doing the day player job every now and then. Like, I would do, like, like, an army scene on, like, The Last Ship, which was, like, an army type show. I would be, like, a soldier and get shot. Like, that would be a day player job for me. And then, like, 3 months later, I would get another job on, another show being, like, a guy kind of in the background getting shot, doing stunts, but, like, nothing crazy. Uh, and then I would say in 2019, actually. End of 2019 was when the snowball started to roll and didn't stop. So, all that being said, breaking in, I would say that happened in New Orleans. I got my first job, I got my SAG card, like, stuff like that. That happened, like, 4 years in. I got my SAG card because I gave it to myself with a new media contract. I literally just produced my own project and made myself SAG,
Oh,
because I couldn't get it any other way. Uh, and then I would say, like, making it didn't happen until, like, the process to start making it happened in the end of 2019 because that's when the snowball started to roll. I would say I became financially, like, in a good place, um, by, like, 2021, probably, where I was like, "Alright, like, I'm making great money, it's consistent, I'm working from job to job. I'm not hustling jobs anymore, I'm getting called for jobs." Uh, that started happening in 2021. So you're talking 11 years, 12 years to start getting called for jobs, instead of, like, hustling emails, and, like, shooting, because the stunt world is, like, very, like, you're a stunt coordinator and, like, I want a job, like, "Hey, Eric, like, this is my stuff, like, if you could hire me, like, I would love to work for you, these are my skills," and you're like, "Yeah, alright, I'll give you a shot for a day." Like, that's kind of the how it goes. Uh, but when you're like when it's like, "Hey, man, you available to come fight coordinate this movie?" Like, that's where you wanna be, like, and that didn't happen till, like, 2021. And then even now, like, with the state of the industry being in its end, at least for stunts, it's like, you say making it, and it's like, "Wow, I haven't worked in 6 months because there's no work right now?" So it's, like, so subjective?
that's true. Yeah.
How many people did you, coordinate for Ballerina? How many people would you have to, like, look over?
Yeah, so there's a difference in fight coordinating and stunt coordinating. So, like, the differentiation of the roles is, like, the stunt coordinator is the coordinator of the entire department. So they're responsible for every stunt that happens. So if it's a car gag, if it's a fight gag, if it's this and that, like they're the overarching boss of it all. As a fight coordinator, my responsibility is exclusively fight stuff. So, and I still answer to the stunt coordinator, meaning like if I create a fight and they're like, this sucks, like I have to change it. It's not just my way. Like, right. So it's like you're under them, but then I am over the fight team. Like, and the stunt people are like the next step down. Down. That's a negative way to say it, but like they're just the next tier of like people uh, on the hierarchy. So for me on Ballerina, I had a core team, fight team of let's see, gee, 5 people were on the core team, and what that is basically like front to back they work the movie. So like in prep all the way to the very end, they're the team. So they wear balaclavas and do different spots, and they get killed over there and get killed over here, especially in the Wick style. Uh, and then when we were in the Czech Republic, we had a team of like another 10 to 12. So I'm technically their boss also. So 16 to 20 people as far as like the fighters and people that are performing go. But it really doesn't feel that way. I mean, at least for me, it feels very much like a collaboration. The only thing, when you start to feel like a boss, like not a boss, like cool, I'm cool, but like an employer, is when, and I'm not an employer, by the way. It's not like I'm paying their check or like hiring them. Like coordinator hires them. It's a very weird dynamic. Like I don't hire them. The coordinator hires them. I'm like their supervisor, essentially. Uh, but like you don't really feel like like their supervisor until it's time to like do things, and you like have to like, hey guys, today we're doing this. But then once you're doing it, it's just like me shooting with friends. I'm like shooting a previs and it's like, hey dude, can you do this better on this one? And like maybe on that, like jump a little or that way or whatever. Like it's just very much a collaboration of like you're shooting a little movie together. Um and then but beyond like, the administrative, like, hey, today this is the task. We did do that thing, so we have to do it tomorrow. Like that's kind of where the supervising comes in. And then very rarely it's like, "Hey, like, get off your phone, like, let's do this thing," like, it's that type of thing. But, like, a 16 to 20 people on that, and then Thunderbolts was similar, probably from a standpoint.
So, like, what is previews, by the way? Oh, yeah, anyway.
Alright, yeah, that's a good question. Um, Previs is the pre-visualization process, meaning when you see a fight in a movie, before it ever goes to camera, before it ever gets performed by the actors on a set, we have shot a conceptual version of it in a rehearsal space, usually with like cardboard boxes. So like we put cardboard boxes in a space, meaning like there's a wall here, so we'll build a fake wall with cardboard boxes. We'll build a fake table with cardboard boxes, just so we can get a lay of the land geographically, so we don't create a bunch of fight beats and stuff in the middle of the room, and then you get there on the day, there's like a couch and a table, and it's like, shit, how are we gonna do that here? You build a fake set, and then you create the choreography around the fake set, and then you shoot what is called a previs, which is basically just a mock scene of what your choreography is to present to the director and the producers and the stunt coordinator to where they can okay it, approve it, make changes. It's basically a mini shoot of what they will shoot eventually. Um, that you organize and shoot yourself based on like your own style and taste. And sometimes like they'll use some of your shot ideas, and most of the time they just go, "Great, we see what the fight is, we know what the moves are, we're gonna shoot it how we shoot." That's just what it is. But it's basically just a presentation so that they can make alterations before game day, so they're not having to figure it all out on the fly. It's basically like a mock version of like
Oh, that's so interesting. That's awesome.
I also wanted to ask, like, even just hearing your stories of like from the very beginning, you have this drive. Like you said, you're a perfectionist, and you just do whatever it takes to get the skills and to get to where you want to go. And I think not a lot of people have that. And it's like it, a lot of people, including myself, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like uh what is the level of work and dedication and like, where does that all come from, and how much is required to get to where you want to go?
probably a healthy amount of OCD. I don't know, to be honest. Like but all joking aside, like I wouldn't be surprised if like I have some level of like obsessive compulsive about certain things. Maybe that's the wrong terminology because I know obsessive compulsive more about like patterns of doing things, like whatever, get fixated. Um, but like, man, I get unhealthily obsessed with stuff. Like, no matter what it is, if I'm interested in it, I mean, just ask my girlfriend. Like I will it gets me in trouble, It's like you have to like make time for other stuff, dude. Like we have to go on a date. Like we have to, I don't want to like tell my business. Like, it does affect my life. Uh, and I don't know why. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what it is, but, like, anytime I've been interested in something, I am deeply interested in it to the point where I can't stop thinking about it, and I can't stop until, like, I scratch the itch of, like, doing something about it. No idea where that comes from. I don't know. Maybe being, like, the 2nd kid and being, always my parents always were like, "You're too little to do that. Like, you can't do that." It's like, "Well, my brother did it." He was
Mhm.
"Yeah, but you're little." Like, like, that was always the thing. Like, "You're little. You're the little one. Like, you're not you can't do that." It was like and not to like, I love my parents, great amazing upbringing, but that definitely sticks out as, like, something that was, like, a through line of my childhood "You're too young for that, like, you're too little for that, like, it's too dangerous, like, you can't do that," and, like, that I don't know, that, like, lit a fire in me to go, like, why? Like, why can't I do that?" Like, I'm rebellious in nature, and it's like, I just no, like, I wanna be able to do that. So I don't know if that's it or what, but even back in gymnastics, like, when I grew up, like, I made a lot of progress really quickly in gymnastics because I was just obsessive. Like, I would go to even, like, as, like, a 12-year-old, I would, like, go to my gymnastics practices, and we'd be in line for, like, high bar, because you're in a line and you're waiting to take your turn to do your routine or practice your skills, and the other kids on the team would be, like, chatting, and I would just go and I would skip them. I would literally jump on the bar, and it would be like, "What are you doing, dude?" And I'm like, "You guys are talking. Like, I'm trying to do stuff. Like, you guys are talking up better at stuff." And, like, it was like it affected me then. Like, I would skip people in line. I would, like, hog the bar. I wouldn't let people take turns if they were messing around, like, because I was just so annoyed by my inability to do something. Like, literally, that's the most akin thing I can relate it to, is it just genuinely bothers me to not be able to do things I wanna do. Uh, and I don't know what level of that you need to succeed, probably less than I have, I would hope, because hopefully everybody else doesn't feel this way.
Well, so second children, arrogant.
I think having a would I change it? No, I wouldn't change it. I love it. I love getting obsessed with something and, like, pursuing it. Like, it's a blast. I it's the only thing in my life that and I lost this for a while, um, and it was during the time where I was working the full-time job and stuff, and even a little bit in stunts when I got in a rhythm, was like, I love to get up in the morning and, like, be like, "I'm excited to go do that thing because I wanna go figure it out," Like, I love that. Um, I love being obsessed with something. It gives me, like, purpose.
Yeah.
Um So I don't know. It definitely has its drawbacks, especially in the personal life. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I'm sorry for all these long-winded answers. I'm just so
Peonies.
that's what we're here forever. By the way, this is like my first official podcast, I think.
What do they?
You're kidding.
I've done a bunch of interviews over the years with music and whatever and things like that, but like a legit podcast that's like this format, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. We're honored. Yeah, thank you so much.
But yeah, I don't know where that drive comes from, man. I mean, I wish I could bottle it up.
Honestly, I think that you hit it on the head. Like, we all have our own experiences, and the beliefs that come from those experiences drive us, into our behaviors and how we think about life and stuff. And maybe it's not the only thing, but I definitely I can see how it could be, because there's past experiences in my life that have affected my entire life too.
Yeah. I think the perfectionism aspect of my personality definitely could stem from gymnastics because the whole goal, it was to get a perfect score. S I've explored this before, like, in newsletters and stuff, but, like, when you finish your routine, it's you don't feel negative I mean, if you screw up your routine, yeah, it sucks, but, like, say you execute, like, a pretty good routine, um it's like so common, like it is the practice to like get off the bar, get off floor, whatever it is, and go to your coach and go, what are the notes? Like what are the notes that you have for me? Like what do I need to fix? And it's like, oh, your legs came apart on this thing. You didn't hit the proper angle on your handstand. You kind of had a bobble on this little hand placement. And you get very accustomed to like, all right, I'll fix it. And you get very accustomed to understanding that it's never going to be perfect. And you're always striving for it to be perfect. And it's always like, how can I make it more perfect? And so I definitely know for a fact, I mean, it's impossible that from 10 years old to 18 years old, that didn't like seep into my subconscious that like it's never perfect. You always have to try harder. You have to make it better. What are the things that could be better? Like that's definitely where my perfectionism stems from for sure. Um, so yeah. And maybe a little bit of my drive to fix it, you know? It's just like the habit of going, well, I didn't learn it and I don't know it, so I have to know it. Like I have to get there, you know?
I have a couple other questions. One is kind of a little off topic, but like, do you think like one of the things that Tony Robbins always says is that life happens for us and not to us. And it's like when I think about it, like looking back at life, like you said, like looking back, you can connect the dots, and it really feels like life really does happen for us, and it kind of happens in the way it's supposed to happen for us to get to where we are today.
Yeah.
Uh, Do you think that it's all orchestrated or meant to be, or like is it all random, or do things happen for a reason? Like,
Um, I think I think things happen for a reason. Um, I mean, I believe in God and I believe in like, whether it's the universe for people or like spirituality or whatever it is, like I definitely believe in like an intelligent force. That being said, like I don't know that um I don't know that like if we just sit on our laurels and like do nothing that like it's gonna pan out for us. But like I said before, I think as long as you're pursuing what you're passionate about, it will always unfold in your favor. And it's impossible not to. And when you look back at it and you look back at the dots connecting, it makes perfect sense because like the things that you're pursuing, of course, are going to add up to like where your future is. Like that's logical. It's like you're pursuing this thing, you learn the skill, you build on that skill, and then you get to a place you couldn't have been because you had that skill. So like, of course, it makes sense. Now, as far as like what to learn and like what to do, I think that's where you just follow your intuition, your passion. But yes, I think that uh, everything happens for a reason as long as you're in pursuit of like what genuinely like sets your heart on fire, you know? Like I think that's the prerequisite. So otherwise, I think that you're very much life is happening to you. And that's I think the reason Tony Robbins says that and it resonates is because number one, if you're listening to Tony Robbins, you're a similar type of thinker, because you want that extra thing. You want to pursue that type of life. Um And so, yeah, well, in that respect, you are doing what he's saying and what I'm saying, which is follow your passion and life will happen for you. I genuinely believe that, as long as that prerequisite is there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
I'm pretty passionate about billiards. I play a lot of billiards. But what is that gonna help me in pursuing my dream? I do play I used to play a lot.
and
I was still playing basketball too. Like all those things are very, very much a part of my life.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't necessarily mean everything you touch is gonna be, but say like, how passionate are you? Like, are you passionate enough to, like, make a YouTube channel about it? Are you passionate enough to, like, do trick shots and, like, put them on the internet? Like, it depends on, like, what the avenue is that you're pursuing. I don't necessarily mean that, like I like kiteboarding, you know? Like, I love to kiteboard. But I don't think in 10 years I'm gonna look back on my career and go, kiteboarding was essential for my career growth. It's not that everything is. I think I mean more in terms of, like, pursuing your life's passion and like your goal and like your purpose, you know? Um,
Yeah, I think that takes a lot of time away from actually making music for me, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. No, totally, dude. That's really interesting. I mean, you definitely have to have that's where you get into this tricky space of like you kind of gotta you do have to like kind of temper yourself a little bit if like what's the bigger goal? You know, like what's the bigger thing? Like it comes back to the one thing. Like what is the one thing? Like what's the one thing that I could be doing right now that would make everything else either easier or unnecessary. Um that doesn't mean you shouldn't have hobbies. Like I do jujitsu 4 days a week, you know, and it helps that it like is a part of physical movement and like I can use it for choreography and stuff. But like it's literally for me. It's just for me. Jiu-jitsu is just for me. And kiteboarding is just for me. I'm not trying to be a professional kiteboarder. I'm not trying to be a professional jiu-jitsu guy. Um, now jiu-jitsu is something I'm highly passionate about to the point where I think eventually I will have a jiu-jitsu space where I own a business and it's run by like high level black belts and like I own that company because I'm so passionate about it. I love it. Oddly enough, actually, now that I'm saying this, I have thought about making a kiteboarding company. So I don't know.
What is kiteboarding?
Kiteboarding is basically that where you're it's like surfing, but you have a big kite and you're like, you know, at the beach and they have like the big
Oh, okay.
that's so cool. But yeah, that's really funny that we just went down that rabbit hole of my psyche. That's no, that's true. Actually, I have thought about making these my businesses. So who the fuck knows, man? You might do a billiard. You might have a billiard spot. Hey, you might do your dance stuff and like blow the fuck up, or
And have your music playing in the background.
and then have a billiard spot. Literally, dude. Like depends on like where you're at with it. I don't know, man. I'm the wrong person to ask. Like
He's gonna be like, do everything. Yes, man. Yes.
focus, but do everything. That's literally the theme of this podcast. Focus, but do everything. Oh, I'm the wrong person to ask because if there's something I'm passionate enough about to do for a long period of time, I'm probably going to try to turn it into something I could do from a business.
yeah.
And then I can, it's oh, good.
It's so much fun, you know, to do things that I love to do. It's just
Yeah. Of course.
I think that's where the business part of it comes in. It's like, how can I do it more? Like, how can I do it more? Because like the answer is always like money, right? It's like I need money. I need money to do this. So like, how could I do more jujitsu, more kiteboarding, more content creation stuff? I could do content around all of this stuff. It's kind of like me and Eric were talking about, or not me and Eric, but like all of us. But to Eric, I was talking to you earlier about how do you do the YouTube channel and the podcast when you unify them? So it's like for me, it's like how can I do all these things I love more? I love content creation. I love kiteboarding. I love jujitsu. Okay, I could do content around all of these things. I love helping people. Now I can do it around the idea of like lifestyle creation because of the things I've done based on the belief that I could do it. You know, like it's like you can tie all these things together. It's just trying to figure out how you do it for yourself. And the other thing is about this whole thing is like and the lessons I've learned over the years is that like the billiards question is a good one because you don't necessarily have to have the answer. Like all you have to do is like continue to do what you want to do, which is like you're a doctor and you have, you know, the finances and the means to start pursuing these other things and these other creative things. I think you take down the most, like I said, the one thing that you're most passionate about, you kind of get on that path and then things will maybe start to reveal themselves, you know, like over time. It's like, oh, that's kind of the Tony Robbins thing. It's like, oh, that's what that was for. Like, and that's why I don't really judge my process. I don't judge when I like right now I'm learning Unreal Engine on on my computer, which if you don't know what Unreal Engine is, it's basically a visual effects 3D program that is used in a lot of video games, and they also use for virtual production. So, like, you can build out, like, entire worlds in Unreal Engine, and then you can composite yourself, which if you don't for the audience, if they don't know what compositing means, it basically means, like, taking a video, like, cutting yourself out and putting yourself in this environment. You can composite yourself into this 3D world, and it's super accessible. All you need is knowledge. So right now, in this space that I'm in, I could literally have the background of what I'm in almost like the Zoom filters, but just like on steroids, like all photorealistic. Like I could have be in a cave, and as long as I was lit properly, so to match the environment, I would look like I'm in a cave. And so think about the possibilities. I could shoot a video literally I could lay on my floor with a green screen and like wake up and like be in this environment and tell an entire narrative story based on Unreal Engine. And so I just want to learn that. And I don't know why. I don't know where it leads. I'm just gonna learn because I think it would be cool. And also like it helps with previs. Like I talked about before, previs is conceptualizing like fights and things so that the director can see the concepts. Well, I mean, imagine 3D people, which people do this. I'm not pretending like this is my idea, but this is how that other fight coordinators have been of the previs projects is they can set up like mannequins in this 3D world and they can show camera moves and things with the choreography, how it would be in real life. And like they can pitch an idea. So like I'm like, I should learn that. Like I should know how to do that. And I'm deeply interested in it. I started to learn 3D 10 or 12 years ago with a program called Maya, which was like completely inaccessible to the public at the time. It was like very expensive. And I tried to learn it and then I realized like, holy fuck, this is like an entire career, which it is. But I just would try to learn it anyways, and that's the thing I'm doing with Unreal Engine. So anyway, all that to say that like I don't always know why I'm learning the things I'm learning. I just know that I'm gonna go try to learn the things I'm interested in, and I just figure out why later. You know, I already have ideas of how I'll use Unreal Engine once I'm proficient in it, but for the time being, I'm just passionate about it, and I think it'd be a dope skill to have. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Dope skills. That's what we should do. It's just like try to acquire dope skills.
Yeah, the guy I mentioned earlier, Dan Coe, who's the kind of a massive in the creator space, um, is a big proponent on that. Is a big proponent of like, and if you get into content creation, or if you think about content creation, um, the big buzzword right now in the last couple of years has been personal branding, and personal branding is just all about like using your interests, like literally like just monetizing your interests. So like to your point, if you're a billiards player and you started publishing content about billiards, there is guaranteed an audience of people who love to play billiards that you could publish content. They would follow your account because they love billiards like you do, and you're good at it, and you shot it in a cool way or whatever way you decide to present it. And you could literally make your own show on the internet about billiards and about things you like and about trick shots and about this and about technique and about a great pool cue and like all these things, right? That you could do that you could eventually turn into like a workshop on how to do trick shots, a thing on how to do this thing or whatever. Like you would start to get sponsorships by billiards companies and like tables and like all, I mean, it's literally endless, the possibilities of like the personal branding thing. It just takes time and the right approach and like building and forever. But like, anyway, all that to say that like there are avenues, especially now with the internet, for literally everything. Um, it's just a matter of doing it. So as far as funny as it is about like learn dope things, like it is true. It's like, especially in today's day and age, like just learn skills that you're passionate about by nature and then share those skills and people you'll find an audience for it. That's the whole idea behind content creation, personal branding, which is what my kind of side hustle is.
That's so good because every individual is so unique. Because like, he's an eye doctor, so he can be like, "Yeah, I'm an eye doctor by day, and then I shoot pool and I shoot baskets by night, and that's all you gotta say." And then that opens up, like, so many different, viewers, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's so many ways to do it.
Yeah, if you want to watch somebody, if I don't know if you're familiar with Ali Abdaal, but if you want to watch somebody that would probably inspire you a lot, you should watch his channel. He is a doctor, and then left being a doctor a few years back to pursue YouTube full time. Um, and he's massive. He's massive on YouTube, one of the biggest YouTubers. And his original path on YouTube and what kind of blew up his channel was that he was a doctor at, I don't know, he's British. I can't remember where he was going. Is Columbia? I don't know. Whatever, some prestigious school, some prestigious medical school. And he started YouTube teaching other medical students or other students how to get into medical school. Oh, like that was his channel. And it was because he wanted to be a YouTuber. From before that, he was like, it would be really cool to be a YouTuber. He wanted to be, there's another creator called Peter McKinnon who's massive in the photography space, massive YouTuber. One of my big influences is Peter McKinnon. And he was also inspired by Peter McKinnon. He just loved his videos. He loved as a viewer, he loved Peter McKinnon's vibe. He's like super cool, kind of like band dude's got tattoos, shoots photography, like loves sports cars and motorcycles and shit. Like built his whole brand off of like the back of photography. And then eventually it became a personal brand and like a lifestyle, like personality brand. And Ali Abdaal was like, "I love Peter McKinnon." Didn't care about photography, I don't think, or maybe he did, but, like, he was like, "I wanna be Peter McKinnon," and obviously there's already a Peter McKinnon. So then he finally started going like, "What am I good at?" Well, I'm a doctor, and I'm really good at, like, productivity and, like, learning how to, like, help other people be productive. What if I did a YouTube channel on helping other doctors or people get into medical school or get through medical school? And so he started doing that. And now it's snowballed into he he's he teaches productivity and he's like into tech and he teaches I actually bought his course that's called the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. He teaches other people how to grow on YouTube. Um so anyway, all that to say, it's like a very familiar path where it's like you're a doctor and you did this thing and now you have this interesting background where you're a doctor, but you're pursuing maybe YouTube or pursuing DJing or whatever it is. I think, by the way, like no matter what you're pursuing, I think you should be pursuing something digitally on the internet because that's where everything is going. Like you should be building some type of, like, you should get an Instagram account or a YouTube account and like you should start doing stuff on it because that's where it's all going to go and it is going. And your value from the standpoint of like growth and leverage is going to be online. Like it just is. And I just think, you should check him out because it's like really similar to your path. It's like I'm a doctor, but like I don't necessarily want to do that for the rest of my life. And like, what else can I do? And he did that. And it's like his exact background. So, like,
Awesome.
appreciate it. Of course.
How do you spell his last name?
AB, and let me look it up. He's on my homepage because it's basically a flashing reminder that I need to finish this course. Like
Ali Abdaal.
Ali Abdaal. It's ABDAAL. Yeah, Ali Abdaal. But yeah, he's got part-time YouTuber Academy, which is really good that I purchased. I'm just in the middle of my own stuff, so I just haven't had time. I'm doing my one thing, which is I'm doing my one thing right now, which is to build this program teaching filmmakers how to shoot fight cinematic fight scenes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I wanna be able to do stunts. I don't necessarily wanna do stunts myself, but I'm 40. I just turned 40, so I'm like, I don't have a huge martial arts background, but I would love to make like an action movie, like, like John Wick or something like that. That would be so cool. Um, but uh,
Well, you can always have a stunt double too.
yeah. Um, but do you have to have like a martial arts background or like, or something, be really good at martial arts to be able to do a film like that?
No. No, I mean, the short answer is no, especially as an actor. I mean, like, Keanu Reeves didn't have a jiu-jitsu, judo, martial arts background when he did that. I mean, he had good foundation from The Matrix, but before The Matrix, he didn't have those skills. So the process as an actor is like, we get actor like Lewis from Thunderbolts had zero martial arts background, no fighting ability, no. In fact, when we were doing the rehearsals and stuff, he like basically like just right off the bat said, "Hey guys, like I'm not an athletic person. Like I didn't grow up doing sports. Like I grew up like doing like riding horses. Like I am not like I didn't play soccer. I didn't play football. I didn't do I did nothing. I didn't do martial arts, but I'm stoked to be here and I'm willing to learn." And so we just started with square one, taught him how to do stuff. And like by the end of it, he had like a really solid foundation. And like your mileage may vary depending on like how much effort, how obsessive you are, how much you want to get good at stuff, you know? But if you have the drive, like anybody can learn, well, congested, anybody can learn how, to perform, to some degree with their role. And it's often, not necessarily required, but it's often like, it's almost like a massive benefit because like the less that I can put a double in, the more we can see you, like you're the one they hired to be in the movie. Like that's what they want to see. Like they don't want to see me doing it. They want to see you doing it, you know? and the more they can show your face and not be shooting the back of your head, like, the better it is for the movie, you know? So, you don't have to have a crazy martial arts background to do martial arts movies or like it depends on the movie, you know, if you're gonna do, like, a literal martial arts movie, maybe. But, like, if you're gonna do an action movie, there's so many camera techniques and things you can do to make things look better and more impactful, and, you know, you train and you know, get good at certain things, and then usually with the ideal situation for an actor is actually that they do most of their own fighting, and then they don't do any of the, like, hard bumps and hard knocks and stuff. Meaning, like, you're fighting, you're doing the choreography, you do the fake punches, and you get fake punched, but then the minute you get thrown on the stairs, they, like, put a stunt double in. They're not gonna risk your safety, um, you know, and shut down the movie because you broke your ankle on a stunt, you know? If I right now were to be an actor in a movie, if it wasn't my movie and it wasn't an indie movie, say tomorrow I booked a $150 million Marvel movie, they would give me a stunt double, and I would have to use them for certain things because of it. Like, I would probably do a lot more than most, but, like, because of my own background, but, like, there's not a shot in hell that they wouldn't have a stunt double for, like, a stair fall or, like, a a car hit or something like that. They're never gonna let me do a car hit as an actor if I was hired and paid a bunch of money to be an actor. The difference would be if it's us all making a movie and it's self-funded and it's like, "Guys, I'm gonna do all my own shit because I'm a producer and I'm gonna do it," like Tom Cruise. That's why Tom Cruise started producing all the movies that he does because he wanted to be able to do all that stuff. Nobody would let him. And he's like, "Alright, well, I'm gonna produce it then. I can let myself."
That's great. And he's insane. Huh?
And double.
Yeah. Last question for me.
I think you have to go, yeah. He has a meeting too. Okay.
Okay. Uh, like we're 5 years into our pursuit of acting, and
Yeah.
like we're
The
still
lucky number is like 10.
yeah. We're kind of in a smaller market, you know, Las Vegas, but we're close enough to LA.
Las Vegas might blow up soon.
Yeah, that's true. But unfortunately, they didn't pass the bill for the
Not yet.
yeah. Right. But like, what advice do you have for us? Because our main goal right now is to break into mainstream film and TV and to get to work on those cool ass projects that we really want to be a part of.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you the same thing that I would tell everybody, which is I think you should be taking advantage of any opportunity that you can. I mean, if you get the opportunity to go do like, you know, a low budget thing, even if it's, you know, free, but it's like got a real, you know, it's like a real like script and stuff, and like they're gonna actually shoot it, you should do it. You never know where that's gonna lead. You never know if the DP doesn't get on something tomorrow and or the director doesn't start directing something tomorrow that's legitimate. It's a way to practice your skills. It's a way to get set time. You can, you know, you're literally expanding your reach every time you do a project because especially when you work with these small crews, like it's a matter of time before you work with somebody that in a couple of years is doing something bigger. And then it's like, oh, well, you're really cool on me vibe. So like you should come do this too. So, like, it's just like work begets work is something I've always heard and agree with. Um, I think, you know, pursuing the LA market like you're a local is probably smart because you can always just go get an Airbnb if you need to. And if you really get a big ass audition, you can drive the 4.5 hours to go to LA, do it. You know, I would definitely pursue it like you're a local. Um, Especially in the day and age of, like, video auditions. You could literally just be like, "Hey, I'm out of town on a job. Can I send you a video audition?" Like, and nobody's gonna go, "No." They're gonna go, "Yeah, of course. We're used to that now." You know, like, that's you know, my girlfriend lit like, we have a place here in Atlanta, but we also have a place in LA, and she rarely goes in to audition in person. They just don't do it. So why would we? We're gonna videotape you anyways. Why don't you just videotape yourself and send it to us? Like, you know? Um that's the other thing. And then the big one I would say is like, I can't imagine things being the way they are now and not taking your own career into your own hands. Meaning I would be shooting my own stuff. I would be learning how to shoot. I would be doing my own projects. If you have no desire to learn camera or anything like that, you're in a place where people are also trying to break into the industry. Somebody around you is. Build a team of people. Start shooting your own stuff, even if it's shorts. Like even and everybody says to do that, and I know it's probably like one of those things like, yeah, everybody says that, shoot your own stuff and blah, blah, but like most people just don't do it. Like they just don't do. They hear it and they just go, yeah, I know that's good advice, and it's like, well, then go do it. Like, how bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want it? Not bad enough if you're not gonna be willing to go do that. So I'm not saying, like, you have to do what I've done in the past, which is, like, learn everything you can about every aspect of filmmaking, but, like, organize some people that are passionate about doing sound and organize some people that are passionate about doing camera, like, just start talking to people that wanna do the same shit that you wanna do and then start making stuff. Like, there's plenty of people out there who wanna do things in the film industry, but don't have another person to bounce stuff off of, you know? Or to help with. And then, um, and then if you have the drive and you have the desire, like, you can do stuff yourself, like, literally, you can do stuff yourself. Like, all this, I spend all day, every day in this studio space that I've built over time and, like, learned skills with, shooting myself, literally on a tripod, like, always. Like, I have a slider in my work shelf back there, a motorized slider so that I can have movement by myself. I could hit a button and it'll start to track like this, and then I can just do my little thing and do my little performance, and it looks like somebody's operating the camera, and it's just me with my slider, like my little podcast slider. Like, there's always an answer. Like, I don't really have the drive, at least today, think my own short film with just me performing, but I have the tools from over the years, and I have the equipment from over the years that if I sat down and wrote a script that required one actor, being myself, in one location or several locations, I have the means to where I can make thoroughly believe I can make a cinematic movie that you would say this was shot professionally and it looks good, and I could do it. It would be crazy workload, but, like, I could do it all by myself. Like, I could. And that's just by saying, I'm going to take my own career in my own hands. And I want to do it. And so that's what it's.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, man, and, we're very happy for your success and,
Yeah.
continued success for you. But thank you very much for all your advice and all of that.
Read that book. The one thing, I'm gonna read that.
Get the one thing.
Yeah.
Check out Ali Abdaal. Good stuff.
Mister Do Everything.
Focus on one. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's a struggle, but yeah, I mean, there's the path. There's a way. I guess that's the biggest takeaway that I've always told myself is that, like, there is a sequence of events that is out there. There is a path out there that will lead me exactly where I want to go. I just have to figure out what it is. That's all it is. Figure out what that path is, but it exists. It's in there somewhere. I have to just go. There's a sequence of things and words I could say to get where I need to go. I just have to do it.
100%.
So if people want to follow you or sign up for your courses or whatever, how do they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all under my name, just /Caleb Spilliards. I'm the most active on Instagram. YouTube is definitely something I want to build up time, but Instagram's where I have the most traction. So that's where I am the most. And then I just have a website, calebspilliards.com. Caleb@calebspilliards.com. You can shoot me an email, whatever I'm very accessible. If I don't answer a message, it's because I didn't see it. Like, I always answer messages. I mean, I typically, blessed to have the issue of sometimes having too many messages, but, like, if it's just like an emoji or something, I don't respond to that. But like you seen, Eric, like, if you have a genuine inquiry, like, I
Okay. Is there anything we can do to support you?
no, this has been fun, man. This has been really fun. I mean, what we talked about on the email a little bit, like, for me, like, it's fun to do this because, number one, like, it's like-minded individuals, and I love, like, just talking to people that have a similar mindset. And then number two, like, this is gonna be great for me. Maybe you can pull some snippets, share it online, help you guys.
Yeah.
Help. Sometimes it's easier for me to, like, just, come across naturally when I'm talking to people and do something like a video. So it's helpful to have.
We appreciate you and your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys hit me up anytime. I'm chilling.
Yeah, let us know when you're in Vegas.
Yeah, well, actually, one of my best friends actually lives in Vegas, and there's a jiu-jitsu spot, 10th Planet Vegas, which is, like, famous, and I'm gonna come train out there and stuff. So when that happens, should grab whatever.
That's all. We'll grab a drink or something.
I'm gonna link up for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day.
Enjoy your drink. Here. Peace.